After a 10-year relationship with Nicholas, he finally proposed to me. Yet he kept putting off getting the marriage certificate, saying we'd do it after the wedding. I still agreed. But a week before the wedding, I discovered his hidden bucket list. It was filled with things he wanted to do for his first love. And over these 10 years, he had already completed thousands of them. From buying rings to traveling the world together. Later, my childhood sweetheart confessed his love for me. I had him hold a simple impromptu wedding next door, then silently watched as Nicholas immersed himself in the disguise. On the day of the wedding, I walked through the doors next door wearing my wedding dress. I won't marry Nicholas anymore, I'll marry you. I called Gabriel, my childhood friend who had always silently stood by my side. I asked him to prepare a simple wedding next to the venue where my wedding with Nicholas was supposed to take place, at the exact same time. Hanging up the phone, I stared blankly at the wish list Nicholas had created for his first love on his computer. I had never touched his laptop before because he hated it. This time, because his company had an urgent file on his computer and he couldn't be reached, he asked me to forward it. I didn't know where it was stored, so I searched one by one, only to stumble upon an unusual document. It was filled with things Nicholas wanted to do for his white moonlight. Over the 10 years we had been together, he had already accomplished thousands of them, from buying a ring to globe-trotting travels. Only then did I realize that all those times he told me he was away on business, he was actually with his white moonlight, fulfilling her every wish. 10 years, year after year of business trips, year after year spent with his white moonlight. And beneath every fulfilled wish, Nicholas had recorded his thoughts. As I placed the ring on Fiona's finger, I could clearly see the smile on her face, as if illuminating my entire world. At that moment, how I wished she could be the bride at my wedding. I smiled bitterly. We had been together for 10 years, and every time I mentioned marriage, he would fly into a rage. He accused me of disregarding his career, but the truth was, he was full of longing for marriage, just not with me. This trip is coming to an end. I'm so happy to have accompanied her in seeing the beauty of the world, but Cecilia keeps calling me. Can't she stop nagging like my mother? The word nagging stung my eyes. I was only calling because I was afraid he wouldn't eat properly while on his business trip, afraid he'd feel lonely, afraid he might miss me. I just wanted to show him I cared. But in the end, the fool has always been me. There was already someone by his side all along. I was just being delusional. After reading the thousands of things he did for his white moonlight, an overwhelming bitterness welled up in my chest. He never took the initiative to do anything for me, Valentine's Day, birthdays, relationship anniversaries, he always said he was too busy. I believed him. I thought he just disliked these formalities, that he wasn't good at expressing emotions. So I made excuses for him. After being turned down a few times, I stopped bringing up celebrations altogether, afraid it would upset him. Only now, in this moment, did I finally wake up. That long, detailed wish list was overflowing with Nicholas' love for his white moonlight. It felt like a slap, hard across my face. These past 10 years have been nothing but a joke to me. Nicholas doesn't love me, and I no longer want him. Gabriel sent me a few wedding dress photos, and after carefully choosing one, he excitedly went to make preparations. Nicholas also never contacted me, saying this period was his last bit of freedom and he wanted to spend it well with his friends, strictly forbidding any disturbance from me. However, he posted a photo on his feed. A charming and coquettish woman was leaning against his chest, smiling. The caption read, "The love of my life is finally by my side." With one more refresh, the photo disappeared without a trace. I knew I had been blocked. We had been together for 10 years, yet he never once posted a photo of me. No matter how much I begged, he wouldn't budge, saying it was childish and unnecessary to share those things when dating. But now it's clear, it wasn't unnecessary. It was just because I wasn't worthy. I don't even want to guess how many posts like this he made over those 10 years. I'm tired. 5 days before the wedding, his friend called me. "Sis, we're having a class reunion today. Nicholas is drunk. Could you come pick him up?" Before I could answer, the call was disconnected. I picked up my bag, catching a glimpse of the tie Nicholas had casually tossed into the corner of the sofa. It was an anniversary gift I had given him not long ago, but he never wore it. Now, dust had settled all over the tie. I stared at it for a moment before abruptly tossing it into the trash bin. Beside the bin, an inconspicuous hair tie caught my eye. It was one I had given Nicholas, hoping he would wear it on his wrist as a declaration of commitment. He dismissed it as childish and refused to wear it. I had believed him. But I remember, in the photo just now, he had a hair tie on his wrist. It just wasn't mine. I picked it up and tied my hair with it. If Nicholas doesn't want it, then I'll take it back. Apart from this, the entire room was filled with traces of him, making me extremely uncomfortable. I immediately packed all his belongings and threw them into the trash bin downstairs. Then I hurried to the bar. As I reached the entrance of the private room, the sounds of teasing inside assaulted my eardrums one after another. Nicholas, Fiona, you two were hailed as the golden couple back in the day. Finally seeing you reunited again today. I pushed open the door without any expression. In an instant, the world fell silent. Everyone stared at me in stunned silence. The man I had loved for 10 years, who was supposed to marry me in 5 days, was now embracing a strikingly beautiful woman, his head drooped onto her shoulder in an extremely intimate manner. Nicholas's brothers didn't expect me to arrive so quickly either, and immediately rushed to grab Nicholas. But Nicholas was genuinely drunk, clinging tightly to Fiona and refusing to let go, burying his face in her neck. No, I want Fiona, Fiona. Fiona, you can't leave me. His buddies quickly explained to me. We were playing a game where whoever's name is called has to drink, and it was Fiona's turn. Yeah, Nicholas's alcohol tolerance is getting worse, he's already drunk from just this much. His brother had to exert an immense effort to finally pry him off Fiona. Throughout the entire time, Fiona wore a faint smile on her face. Hello, my name is Fiona. Please don't misunderstand. We're just middle school classmates. Although we've kept in touch occasionally over the past 10 years, it's all been normal communication. Nicholas's friends chimed in from the side, that's right, sis-in-law, don't overthink it. You and Nicholas are about to get married. If this had happened in the past, I would have rushed forward to confront them. But now, I won't. Watching Nicholas's loyal friends, I just smiled and watched them act out their performance. After all, the person walking down the aisle with me is Gabriel, not Nicholas. Actually, I should thank Nicholas for this, thank him for repeatedly convincing me to hold the wedding first and then officially register our marriage. Seeing that I didn't make a scene, everyone breathed a sigh of relief and began introducing Fiona. Fiona, this is Cecilia, Nicholas's fiancée. She's not my fiancée. Nicholas, who had been dazed until then, suddenly spoke up, his voice tinged with irritation. We're just friends. She's not my fiancée, and I don't want her to be. After saying this, he turned to Fiona with a pitiful expression. Fiona, you know me, right? It's all fake between her and me, it was for. The surroundings instantly fell silent, and the expressions on his brothers' faces changed. One of them hurriedly covered Nicholas's mouth. Nicholas, you're drunk. I forced a smile, my fingernails digging into my palms. Only the pain in my hands could make me forget the ache in my heart. I should have gotten used to it by now, shouldn't I? After all, he never wanted to make my existence public. Whether in his posts, albums, or family spaces, both in private and on social platforms, he never wanted to leave any traces related to me. It was just my wishful thinking, over and over again, numbing myself. I forced myself to maintain my composure and looked at Fiona. Hello, I'm Cecilia, Nicholas's ordinary friend. Everyone's expressions turned slightly awkward. Fiona, however, as if completely unaware, handed me a glass of wine. Cecilia can drink, right? Since you're already here, why not have a couple of glasses? I didn't take it. Fiona frowned. Do you dislike me? Is that why you won't drink with me? The crowd sensed the tension and signaled Nicholas to say something. Nicholas, now slightly sober, rubbed his temples in frustration. Cecilia, this is your first time meeting Fiona. Don't make things awkward, it's uncomfortable for everyone. I forced a smile. Sorry, I'm allergic to alcohol. Nicholas grew impatient. It's just alcohol allergy, how serious can it be? Besides, Fiona has a kind heart and knows her limits. What's the big deal if you take a sip or two? You're acting like it's life or death. But the truth was, alcohol could indeed cost me my life. Nicholas had seen me with an alcohol allergy before. When I was rushed to the hospital, it took the doctors a long time to save me. Back then, he was terrified. He held my hand and promised to take care of me and protect me. And now, just to please his first love, he was forcing me to drink. Just then, Fiona casually reached for some snacks on the table. Nicholas, who had been leaning against a pillow, suddenly jumped up and knocked the snack out of Fiona's hand. You can't eat peanuts, your allergy is severe. Fiona paused for a moment, then laughed, you're mistaken. These are specially provided snacks for the private room, not peanuts. Besides, when I said I was allergic to peanuts before, I was joking. How could you take it seriously? For a moment, the atmosphere in the private room turned eerie. Watching the two of them, I couldn't help but tremble inside. He couldn't remember my alcohol allergy, even after I told him. He still insisted on forcing me to drink. Yet, he could recall Fiona's casual joke. After all, he just doesn't care about me. 10 years. I've said it so many times, I'm allergic to alcohol. Yet he never once remembered. He really doesn't love me. The words slapped me across the face over and over again. I had no choice but to wake up. Fiona smiled at me. Nicholas is always like this. Caring for me seems like a reflex. Don't take it to heart, Cecilia. I clenched my jaw and stayed silent. Fiona didn't seem to mind. A couple of days ago, I sprained my ankle, and Nicholas has been with me, taking care of me, cooking for me and all that, so he hasn't been in touch with you these past few days. Please don't blame Nicholas. She said it lightly, but my heart felt heavy. I forced a smile and walked out with Nicholas. Before I knew it, tears had blurred my vision. These past 10 years, my life had truly been an utter failure. Back at home, Nicholas's phone kept ringing. I opened his phone and saw messages from his buddies. Nicholas, today's battlefield was really thrilling. You should comfort your wife properly and don't let anything go wrong with the wedding, or your plan will be ruined. My heart skipped a beat as I scrolled up through the chat history and saw the messages Nicholas had sent to his friends. Fiona wants to experience running away with me during my wedding, it's her wish, and I must help her fulfill it. Bring a few guys to help arrange things, but keep it quiet. Don't worry about Cecilia, she'll obediently play the bride. Everyone, just help me keep it a secret. This time, I'm determined to give Fiona a surprise. I stared at my phone, tears streaming uncontrollably down my face, my heart feeling as if it were being viciously wrenched, making it hard to breathe. No wonder when he proposed to me, there was nothing, no ring, no promises, no 3 golds, no bride price. Not even a word to either of our parents. So this was an outright lie from the very beginning. I thought our decade-long relationship was finally coming to an end. I had been brimming with joy for the future, only to discover it was all fake. All of it was just a facade Nicholas created to win Fiona's favor. But it doesn't matter anymore, we're about to be over anyway. Nicholas and I only had 5 days left, it was time to say goodbye properly. Not long after arriving home, Nicholas sobered up. Where's my toothbrush? Nicholas searched around but couldn't find it. The toothbrush was dirty, so I threw it away. You haven't been back these past couple of days, so I didn't buy a new one. Nicholas frowned, his voice tinged with irritation. Are you blaming me for not coming back these past 2 days? It suddenly occurred to me how gentle he used to be when facing Fiona. You can pick it up on your way out later. Nicholas snapped impatiently, what's gotten into you now? This was always your task. How am I supposed to know which brand to buy? I forced a bitter smile. Nicholas could take care of Fiona for so many days without complaint, cooking for her, enduring all hardships without a single word of protest. Even buying something as small as a toothbrush required my personal attention. Indeed, the power of a first love is simply beyond what ordinary people can compare to. 2 days later was the day to choose the wedding dress. Early in the morning that day, Nicholas drove the car out, looking absolutely impatient. At first, I was puzzled. After all, he had never shown any enthusiasm for this wedding. But when I arrived at the bridal shop and saw the clothing store opposite, I understood. That was Fiona's newly opened shop. At the same time, it was also one of Fiona's dreams. The irony was that it had actually come true with my help. Back then, Nicholas supported his white moonlight traveling around the world and exhausted his funds, so he used my savings, claiming it was an investment. Yet, not a single penny was returned. He said it was all lost. He even acted particularly remorseful and guilty about it. At the time, I believed him wholeheartedly and even comforted him for a long while. Looking back now, I was such a fool. I casually picked a wedding dress, figuring I wouldn't need it anyway. As I was about to head to the fitting room, I saw Nicholas eagerly rushing toward the opposite store. When I came out, I watched him and Fiona walking away cheerfully, holding freshly bought milk tea in their hands. I stepped forward and stopped Nicholas. Nicholas frowned and asked, "Why did you come out?" "I'll be back soon." I glanced at his missing groom's suit and said softly, "I have a headache and want to go home." He was momentarily speechless. Not wanting to say more, I turned and left. As I walked away, Nicholas's voice still lingered in my ears. "Fiona, don't take it to heart. There's nothing intimate between us." I never touched her. Strangely enough, this headache came without any warning. I went to the hospital, and the doctor told me to avoid overthinking. I understood immediately. Maybe in 3 more days, when I marry Gabriel, this illness will be cured. Nicholas returned with a bag of medicine in his hand. "These are for your headache." I remained silent. Did he not understand that medicine shouldn't be taken recklessly? Seeing my lack of response, his expression darkened. "I didn't expect to run into Fiona today." "Don't overthink it, there's nothing substantial between us. Get some rest. We're getting married soon, so don't mess this up." After saying that, he walked into the room with a cold expression. I sneered. Was he afraid I'd ruin the carefully planned gift he had prepared for Fiona? The next morning, he was gone without a trace, and there was no word from him for 3 days. Then, on the morning of the wedding, he suddenly called to confront me. "Cecilia, your parents just video called me asking if I'm marrying you. Did you tell them about the wedding? I told you long ago that I only want a simple wedding without inviting relatives and friends. Can't you understand? You deal with your parents on this, and remember, keep your mouth shut. Or you'll face the consequences. Fiona isn't feeling well and is at the hospital. Take a taxi to the wedding venue yourself. I don't have time to pick you up." I hung up immediately. No explanations, no time for them. Because Gabriel's wedding procession had already arrived at my doorstep. Gabriel was dressed in a suit, his handsome face brimming with excitement and joy as he held 99 roses and looked at me. Then, with great care, he helped me into the car, treating me like a rare treasure. As I stood outside the venue in my wedding dress, waiting for my turn, I listened to the lively sounds inside and glanced at the neighboring venue. There, it was eerily quiet, with no one in sight. Just then, Nicholas called. His tone was immediately filled with reproach. "Where are you? I heard you haven't arrived at the wedding venue yet. What kind of tantrum are you throwing now? Do you have any idea that Fiona came all the way here to attend the ceremony despite being sick, yet you're acting so selfish? When will you ever grow up?" With that, he issued his ultimatum. "I'm giving you 10 minutes. No matter where you are right now, get ready for the wedding immediately. If you still want to marry me, don't cause trouble at a time like this." He hung up without giving me a chance to respond. Staring at my phone with a cold expression, I typed out a few words. Nicholas, I'm not marrying you. We're over for good. I turned off my phone and looked up just as the MC announced the bride's entrance. The door slowly opened, and I walked in with a smile. When Gabriel slipped the ring on my finger, I felt a bit dazed. I loved Nicholas for 10 years. I always thought we would make it to the end, but in the end, the one who put the ring on my finger wasn't him. This whole thing with Gabriel was just an act. I feel a bit guilty, using his feelings for me like this. But I liked Nicholas for 10 years, I simply can't accept someone else so quickly. Still, I'm trying hard to reclaim my own heart. My uneasiness was noticed by Gabriel, who remained silent. Only the warmth from his palm and the love brimming in his eyes gradually calmed my heart. The ceremony ended. After turning on my phone, a call suddenly came in. It was Nicholas. Cecilia. What are you up to now? Why didn't you answer my calls? Why didn't you go to the wedding venue? Where the hell are you? Are you mute? Can't you speak? Just because I was a little late, you throw a tantrum, what's your problem? After he finished speaking nonstop, I finally spoke expressionlessly, are you done? Didn't you see the messages I sent you? Do I need to repeat that we're over? Nicholas, we're both adults. I hope you can act like one. I won't talk anymore, I still have to make the toast rounds. Toasts? What toasts? Cecilia, explain what? Nicholas's furious voice came through the other end of the line. I hung up before he could finish, then promptly blocked the number. Gabriel gave me a concerned look. I shook my head to signal that I was fine, then joined him to continue the toast rounds. Just as the toasting was about to end, Nicholas suddenly burst in. He wasn't wearing a groom's suit, just a simple shirt, and he hadn't even styled his hair. Cecilia, how dare you marry someone else? Nicholas's eyes were red as he stared at me in my wedding dress, looking utterly disbelief. Like a madman, he charged forward, but Gabriel quickly stepped in front of me, shielding me tightly. Nicholas grew even more furious, shouting at me, so this is your groom, your childhood sweetheart, how perfect. I had no idea about the dirt going on behind my back. I loved you so much, how could you do this to me? Cecilia, we've been together for 10 years, and today was supposed to be our wedding. Yet here you are, shamelessly marrying someone else. Have you ever considered how this makes me look? Do you even have a heart? Nicholas's eyes were bloodshot, as if I were the one who had betrayed him first. But in reality, he was the one who deceived me for 10 years, even the wedding I had longed for was nothing but a scheme to please his so-called white moonlight. Nicholas, you were the one who disregarded my dignity first. You wronged me, so stop acting like I've done you some great injustice. It's utterly disgusting. Let me make this clear, today is my wedding, and you're not welcome here. Leave. Don't make me lose even more respect for you. Nicholas refused to leave. Pushing Gabriel aside, he rushed to grab me but was swiftly dragged out by Gabriel's groomsmen. After the wedding officially concluded, Gabriel didn't take me back to his home. He had sensed my intentions and didn't want to take advantage of the situation, urging me to think things through carefully. He said this wedding could just be a dream of his and asked me not to feel burdened by it. Insistent, he helped me rent a new place to live on my own. I had no intention of returning to the house I once shared with Nicholas. Throughout the journey, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. Every call came from a different number. I answered one earlier, it was Nicholas. Undoubtedly, all these calls were his doing. I blocked those phone numbers one by one, then slowly scrolled through the chat records before finally clearing and deleting them all. In the photo album, I carefully looked at each picture I had taken of Nicholas, including the candid photos I grabbed of us together, before deleting them all. Bit by bit, I removed all traces of my love with Nicholas from my phone, and in the process, I was also reclaiming my heart piece by piece. I want to completely erase him from my life. After the cleanup, my phone storage was suddenly half empty. He was still persistently calling from different numbers. I smiled bitterly. In the past 10 years, the number of calls he actively made to me probably didn't even match the number he made today alone. Suddenly, an unfamiliar text message popped up. I initially thought it might be Nicholas trying a different approach, but upon opening it, I saw it was from Fiona. Cecilia, I'm truly sorry. I only found out today about your wedding. Don't blame Nicholas, he's just used to trying to please me. I've tried talking to him too, but he always thinks my health is more important than anything. When you two reconcile, please advise him not to focus solely on me and neglect you. I don't care how she got my number. I just calmly replied, we won't get back together. I don't want his feelings anymore. Since you treasure him so much, you can have him. After sending it, I immediately blocked her number too. If we're ending this, let's make it clean. After leaving Nicholas, I had a few peaceful days, thinking I'd never have to see him again. But who would have thought, just as I went downstairs to take out the trash, I turned around and ran into Nicholas, his eyes bloodshot. It gave me a fright. How did you find this place? His eyes were red. I've investigated it all. You left me because of Gabriel? What's so great about him? How is he better than me? Haven't I been good to you? What else do you want? Stop being unreasonable. If you think I'm too close to Fiona, I can keep my distance from her. Come back with me. Making a scene won't do anyone any good. His words made me sick to my stomach. How had I never noticed how shameless he was before? Where's your shame? A trace of impatience flashed across Nicholas's face. What gives you the right to say that about me? Go ahead and tell me, where have I ever wronged you, and what makes Gabriel so much better? Truly, a sudden infatuation can't compete with childhood friends. I sneered. At the very least, he wouldn't hide a wish list filled to the brim for his white moonlight in his computer. At the very least, he wouldn't buy a ring for his white moonlight but hesitate to buy one for me. At least he wouldn't humiliate me in public, intending to elope with his first love on our wedding day, making me a laughingstock. Word by word, each syllable conveys my pain. He listens, his impatience fading, replaced instead by a growing unease in his eyes. How did you find out? Didn't I tell you not to touch my things? Why didn't you listen? Do you really enjoy snooping into other people's privacy? Don't flatter yourself. Your friend's work files were on your computer, he couldn't reach you and needed them urgently, so he asked me to send them to him. Thanks to your meticulous documentation, or else I couldn't even imagine how humiliated I would be when your plan reached the wedding day. I turned to leave, but he grabbed me. Just then, Nicholas's phone rang. It was his brother calling. Nicholas, Fiona's been in a car accident. Come to the hospital now. Nicholas cut off his brother mid-sentence, snapping impatiently, if she's in an accident, call a doctor. If she's broke, call her family. What good am I? I'm neither a doctor nor her family. I'm busy right now, don't call me unless it's important. He hung up, looking at me with guilt. Cecilia, it's not what you think. I really only see Fiona as a friend. We grew up together, so I've just been looking out for her a bit more. The chat logs you saw were just me joking around with friends. I truly want to marry you. This wedding was supposed to be my way of cutting ties with her completely. He tried every possible explanation, hoping I'd believe him. But to me, it all just sounded like excuses. Nicholas, it's really over between us. Nicholas shook his head, blocking my path. No, we're not over. His eyes were red, his spirit utterly haggard, his whole body slumped, looking fragile. In the past, my heart would have ached unbearably, and I would have forgiven him instantly. But now, I just stood there, silently watching. Listen to me, Cecilia. I did like her before, but on that day at the wedding, when I couldn't find you, I panicked. Suddenly, I couldn't imagine what life would be like without you. It was in that moment I realized, it's you I love. I sneered. His repeated lies had made it impossible for me to discern which of his words were true and which were false. Nicholas, if you truly loved me, you wouldn't have let me down time and time again, let alone toy with something as serious as a wedding. Nicholas, there's no future for us anymore. Please don't disturb my life again. He shook his head, gripping my hand tightly. I know this was all my fault, that I was wrong. Could you give me one more chance to make it up to you? This time, I'll replace every wish on the wish list with yours, would that work? Hearing him say this, I felt an inexplicable surge of disgust. Unable to muster the energy to engage with him, I simply stepped into the elevator. From then on, Nicholas's flowers would arrive at my doorstep without fail every day. I never kept a single bouquet, always tossing them into the trash bin downstairs. That day, I had just thrown the flowers away when I turned around and bumped into Nicholas holding a gift box. He looked at the trash bin behind me, his smile turning somewhat strained. Cecilia, you mentioned before that you liked the heart of the moon. I managed to get one for you. It would look stunning on you. I looked at him with mixed emotions. I didn't understand what he was trying to do. There was a time when I loved this necklace. It symbolized loving only one person for life. But not only was it expensive, it also required connections to obtain. I used to beg him for it, but he always said it was just a formality, coming up with all kinds of excuses and never willing to get it for me. Now that we've separated, he suddenly knows to buy it for me. In the end, I didn't accept that necklace. Because before Nicholas could even hand it to me, he received a phone call and left in a hurry. I knew who it was from. Fiona. When he answered the call, I saw the contact name. I thought Nicholas would give up. But the next day, he appeared again downstairs at my place. I stood on the balcony and locked eyes with Nicholas, who was holding a bouquet of fresh flowers. Nicholas was overjoyed, waiting for me to come down. I simply pretended not to see him. But just seconds later, Nicholas appeared at my door with a beaming smile. Cecilia, open up. My door was being pounded relentlessly. Already, people in the neighborhood group chat were asking who Cecilia was. Fuming, I flung the door open without a trace of amiability. What are you doing? Don't you realize you're disturbing the neighbors? You're ignoring me. His voice actually carried a hint of grievance. Clearly, it was me who was wronged. What right does he have to feel aggrieved? I laughed in exasperation. Nicholas, do you even know what you're doing right now? Stop pretending like you love me so much. It's really fake. He faltered slightly, looking somewhat flustered. No, I was worried you'd be in danger alone. Staying with you puts my mind at ease. Dangerous? I smirked coldly. Nicholas, have you forgotten what you once said? You told me, in this day and age, where is all this danger coming from? Stop exaggerating. His face flushed. I'm sorry, I was wrong before. You don't need to apologize. It's unnecessary. Why don't you go accompany your white moonlight instead? I snapped coldly. In that short time, the property staff I had called earlier had arrived. After hearing me, they promptly escorted Nicholas out. But it wasn't over yet. Every day, he outsmarted the property staff to sneak in and keep watch over me. Even when I went out with friends, he would follow behind. Quietly, without realizing it, I had grown accustomed to his presence again. Yet, a week later, when I parted ways with a friend at an intersection and walked alone down a small path, the further I went, the more uneasy I felt. I kept thinking I heard footsteps behind me. But when I stopped, they would disappear. Assuming it was Nicholas, I mustered the courage to call out to him. But there was no response at all. I was a little scared and started running immediately. The footsteps behind me also became hurried right away. It proved that my intuition was correct. In my panic, I dialed the emergency contact number without thinking. Due to my previous oversight, the emergency contact was still Nicholas. I hadn't changed it. Yet he never answered. The footsteps behind me were getting closer, and my heart pounded wildly with fear. On the third call, someone finally picked up, but it was Fiona's voice on the other end. Cecilia, Nicholas is already exhausted. Would you please stop disturbing him? Just before the phone call ended, I heard Nicholas's cold voice. Leave her alone. Let her die. Overwhelming despair flooded my heart. My body was suddenly overcome with weakness, and I collapsed to the ground, losing consciousness. When I woke up again, I learned it was Gabriel who had saved me. He somehow found out about Nicholas persistently bothering me and grew concerned, keeping a close eye on my whereabouts. Every evening, he would wait outside my apartment building. Last night, when he noticed the lights in my room hadn't turned on for a long time and my phone was busy, he sensed something was wrong. He came out to look for me and happened to see me fall to the ground, unconscious, so he saved me. Just as I was about to ask the nurse to call Gabriel, who had gone to pay the bill, Nicholas rushed in frantically. At this moment, he was unshaven and looked utterly disheveled. The moment he saw me, his eyes turned red, filled with guilt. "I'm sorry, I didn't realize, I truly didn't expect things to turn out this way. That night what you heard wasn't like that, she tricked me into going to the hospital by faking her illness. Those words I said weren't directed at you, it was her, she deceived me into thinking she was dying, that's why I said those things. I never expected you to happen to call at that exact moment. It was her, she took my phone without me noticing. When I saw her answering the call that time, I thought it was her phone. I never imagined it would be you." He frantically tried to explain. I looked away, staring blankly at the ceiling. "I should have known long ago, shouldn't I?" He said he was afraid I might face danger and wanted to protect me. Yet every time I was in danger, he was never by my side. And why did he mistake whose phone it was? It was because of Fiona's wish list. They bought a couple's phone that looked very similar, which is why he mistook one for the other. I said calmly, "We have no relationship now, Nicholas. Who you want to see is your freedom and has nothing to do with me." His face was full of pain, unable to utter a word, with only deep regret glaring in his eyes. He reached out to touch my face, but I avoided him. I closed my eyes. "Don't touch me. I don't ever want to see you again. Please leave." His hand holding mine trembled slightly. "I'm sorry, I trusted her too much. She was never in trouble. It's me who failed you. Can you give me one more chance? Just the last one." I shook off his hand and took a deep breath. "Nicholas, let's part on good terms. Don't make me lose respect for you." He stood up, looking utterly dejected. He opened his mouth to say more, but when he met my indifferent gaze, his resolve instantly crumbled. Just then, Gabriel walked in. He glared sternly at Nicholas. "She doesn't want to see you right now. Please leave." Nicholas didn't want to leave. I paid him no mind and smiled slightly at the food box in Gabriel's hands. "What goodies did you bring me? Do you have tomato and eggs?" Gabriel smiled as he laid out the dishes from the food container. "I knew you'd love this, so I made it for you, and here's some sweet and sour pork too." Gabriel turned and looked at Nicholas, who hadn't moved yet, his voice ice cold. "You've been together for 10 years, do you even know her preferences? I really admire your audacity sometimes. Where do you get that kind of nerve from?" Nicholas's expression changed repeatedly, but in the end, he walked away dejectedly. Afterward, we tacitly avoided mentioning Nicholas. From then on, Nicholas never showed up again, except for the flowers and gifts that arrived like clockwork on every holiday. And the shadow that silently followed me when I worked late and returned home in the dead of night. It wasn't until Gabriel and I got our marriage certificate that he rushed out recklessly, grabbing my arm like a madman, demanding an answer. Because he later learned that the wedding was staged for him to see, he always knew that Gabriel and I had never truly been together. But now, realizing that I was genuinely about to be with Gabriel, he broke. His frenzied state was all too reminiscent of how I had been years ago. Faced with his questioning, my answer was simple: he saved me that time, and I really like him too. As if everything had suddenly become clear to him, he shook his head with a bitter smile and walked away. Within a few days, we had set the date for the wedding. Gabriel said that wedding back then was too simple and unworthy of me, so he wanted to host an extravagant wedding for me again. This time, this wedding truly belongs to me, completely and entirely.